dissect. Talking the talk with Kate and Jim, and walking the walk, just listening. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has a name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing. Or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jimbo always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing. Or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. Perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jim always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue and let you stop rubbing. Or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. Always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing. Or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the perfect match. It's Monday the 7th of April and we're on the back of a win. Yay! Hurrah! We can actually sit here for once and be happy because we won yesterday. So up the Spurs, first of all, and well done for giving us something to smile about. I'm joined this morning, as always, by my partner in crime, Mr. Jimbo. How you doing, Jimbo?
I'm good, thank you, Katie. Very happy with the win.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying it's only Southampton, but you can only beat...
I don't give a shit who it is. If we win, we win.
Exactly. And of course, we sent Southampton down to the doldrums of the Championship, where I do think they'll have trouble getting back up. And it broke this morning that we caused another manager of Southampton to lose their job because he's walked away, been sacked, been pushed, however you want to look at it. He's gone. And I was talking to Jim in bed last night and I said, this is what we talk about in bed. I said, this guy is not the guy you want to be bringing you back up for the Championship. He's got to go. And then this morning he's gone.
You did actually say, I think he'd be gone by the morning.
I did, yeah. So call me Mystic Kate. Woo. But let's have a look at who is in the chat before we crack on with the show. We've got Leo. Big up, Leo. Morning, the perfect match. Have an awesome start to your week. Southampton down, Spurs with a win. Not the best performance, but a winning one. Let's go. Exactly.
Oh, I thought it was a decent performance.
I think the first half definitely was. Second, not so much.
Second half, they're not going to go mad, are they? Because we've got a big match coming up. So
yeah. Big up to you, Cole Simpson. We're well. Hope you're well. Big up, Matt. I'm not sure what PGMOL won, Arsenal won. Explain. I'm not sure whether that's something to do with the so-called penalty or what. Let me know if I'm being blonde. Big up Ian Barron says, a very good afternoon, everyone watching. Hope you're well and having a great, warm, sunny day. The mighty Darlington won 4-2 on Saturday. The playoff push is on. Just come on, Darlington till I die. Well, good. I'm glad they won for you. That was a mouthful. Big up Jose. Great to have you stream with us on Sunday for the pre-match pump up, and good to see you as well. Big up, Daniel. Good to see you. You smashed Southampton. They deserve to hold the record of the lowest points in Premier League history. So I hope they lose every single game from now to the end of the season. To be fair, they are very poor. They are a terrible team. But it's a shame because, Jim, I don't think all their players are terrible. They just don't to gel.
Yeah, I think they've got some decent players in there. I got a little soft spot for Southampton because of I loved Matt Letizia. He was a player when he could have just
and they gave up Pochettino.
Well, he could hit a ball from anywhere and end up in the back of the net. So I loved watching Matt Letizia. He was very loyal to him, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah.
But I got a little soft spot for Southampton, so a little bit gutted they've gone down for them. It's not one of the teams I'd pick to go down, but I'm sure they'll come back up. They're not a muggy club, are they? They're quite a big club, so they were. I think they get all their ducks in line for next season.
I was listening to Southampton fans ringing up TalkSport this morning, and every single one of them said they think they'd go down next season as well because of the ownership. So don't choke. No need to choke about it. Daniel says, I've got a problem with the lineup though, Kate. We're playing the worst Premier League team in history and he still barely rotates with our biggest game of the season on Thursday. Look, I have to agree. I didn't think Spence would play. I said Van der Ven wouldn't play. A lot of people were calling for Vic to have a rest, although I think he did a good job yesterday for us. Who knows if it would have been the same if, say, Kinski had played. I thought Sonny would get a rest. I thought Brennan would get a rest, actually, but thank goodness he didn't, because did I say Brennan would get a rest? I can't remember what I said in my... but Brennan Johnson yesterday, Jimbo, proving the haters wrong and coming out with 2 cracking goals. Hang on, let me finish the chat and then we'll go on to Brennan because I want to speak about it. Big up to Just a Harmless Potato. Good to see you, my lovely. Yeah, they've been saying they think they'd go down to League One. Big up, Luton Dan. Hope you're both great. Football, more importantly, we won the race. Yes, we did. We had the great team in Monopoly. Come on, the team. Big up Shemtan as well. Hope you're well and mum's okay. And also Steve D's here. Big up to you. Who complimented me today saying I've got a good jawline. And I said to Jim afterwards, no one's ever said that to me. But I actually don't think I do. I think because still got the so it's not that great. The penalty situation, what do you think about it? Which one? Are we talking about?
Arsenal or Tottenham?
Yeah, let us know which one. I assume you mean Arsenal, but
I'm going to say that Tottenham's one was definitely a penalty, and I thought Arsenal's one was a bit harsh.
Yeah, it was a bit harsh.
Yeah,
I agree. It was a bit harsh. And then Liverpool, in their game, there should have been a penalty to Fulham, and there wasn't one. But before we go to Spurs, I've just got to quickly put out there, I think Tottenham should go all out and try and get Iwobi from Fulham. I think he has been a phenomenal player for them. You did say it. He's so quick on the wing, puts in a good ball, strong. I mean, I really, really like him. So I think that would be a great bit of business if we go with someone like him. But I don't know. I know he's an Arsenal Academy boy. I don't know how much Fulham have been looking for him, but I think he's such a good player. Why aren't we getting it? It's like Ramsdale. I said to Jim, we could get Ramsdale if we wanted him. We don't need him now. But Arsenal treated him like shit. I'm convinced he would come to us. But we don't need him now. Harmless Potatoes talked about the Johnson Tell situation. Porro took the ball off Brennan and Romero gave it to Tell. What's your thoughts, Jimbo?
Well, I think to myself that Sonny weren't on the pitch, right? So they always have another designated penalty taker. And it's obviously Tell, because Tell, he took the ball. So, and no one argued with him. So I would think it would be Tell. So at the end of the day, look, I'd love to have seen Brennan get his hat trick, right? And it was near enough the last kick of the ball. So really, I think he should have took it. But you've got to look at it on the other side as well. Say Tell give it to Brennan and he took it and missed, and they went up and scored, right? it's just what it is, isn't it? If he's the designated penalty taker, if Son ain't on the pitch, and then it's his job to take it. So
I did, to be honest, feel for Brennan, and he did show a little bit of frustration. But I understand as well that, you know, even though it's probably going to be the last kick of the game, we are only 2-1 up, and yeah, look, Tell got a goal. It was an unselfish thing for Brennan to allow him to do it, but I did feel a little bit sorry for Brennan Johnson, because I thought he played a brilliant game, especially in the first half. But there we go. We won't get a Wobie. We'd re-signed Settignon, yeah, but he can't. Bloody another goal he scored, and a good goal as well. Really,
you know
good
what?
goal.
He couldn't get on the pitch for us because he was always injured. He goes there, and you can't write this crap at Tottenham, can you?
It just shows you there's something inherently wrong with Tottenham Hotspur, because these players leave and they turn into absolute ballers. While they're at Spurs, they're terrible. Yeah, Fulham are in contention, but look, he probably will stay there. But I'm just saying, I really rate him. I think he's a really good player, and I'm surprised Arsenal let him go. I think he's such a good player.
I said that at the time.
Big up Drew, hope you're well, my love. Tell taking the penalty can be good for confidence. Yeah, there is that as well. Graham's here, Spurs GCTV, lovely to see you. Shem says, thank you, Princess Kate. She actually went out yesterday for my sister's wedding. She drank, she ate, she met new people, and this morning, besides in pain, she seems okay. So fun day had by all. Oh, that's lovely news. Never underestimate the power of a good day out, good wedding, good bit of booze and food. Lovely jubbly. Where are we? Yeah, I mean, Matt, why did you let him go? Daniel says, Kate, I agree. Iwobi, I've just got big question marks about the consistency of his decision making. He's having his best season, but when he's not in form, he's terrible with decision making. There is that. I mean, I've seen again the rumblings that Solanke's just a one season wonder circulating around YouTube and Twitter. But I think people, yes, he doesn't score enough goals, but he does do so much more for the team, in my opinion. He was so strong yesterday again, and he's very unselfish, Solanke. Big up to Graham, been a member for 13 months. Thank you. I think Tell's the better penalty taker, but I understand Brennan's frustration. Yeah, no big deal. It weren't like they were having fisticuffs.
No, they had a couple after and all.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, at the end of the day, Kate, if he's the designated penalty taker, then it's his job to take it. You know, imagine he gives it to Brennan and Brennan misses.
Yeah,
he'd probably get his head chewed off by Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, exactly that. Do you know what? I said this yesterday, Luke and Dad. Sessegnon coming out and saying I'm an attacker, but I was playing a defensive role at Spurs. Again, playing square pegs, round holes. They put them in their right position, and look, they perform. It all beggars belief. This club, it really does. Big up Spotlight on Spurs. Good to see you. I hope you're doing good. Lisa is here. Hello, my lovely. Says, hello, two of my favourite people to see online. I'm so happy to be with you after a Spurs win. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, congratulations to your sister. And also congratulations, Shem, for being a member for 13 months as well. I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. Jim, do you want to have a little bit of a say on Brennan? I know you was going into one yesterday about Brennan Johnson, how much you like him.
Yeah, I just think that he gets a bit of a bad. It gets a lot of bad stick, doesn't he? He gets stick. I think he's a good player, Kate. And I said to you, I think he'll come good, and I still think that he'll come even better than what he's doing. But I don't think he's a winger. I like him. He always seems to find space in the box where others don't.
Yeah.
I like seeing him in the middle. But I just think that he's a good player. I do, and I'm glad he's at Tottenham. But I just don't like him on the wing. I don't, you know. I don't like him on the wing.
Show everyone my new T-shirt. This just goes to prove I am actually the black sheep of my family. I just had to get that shirt because it's just spot on.
Luke and Dan's just put have him up top next to Solanke. So I just think that he's one of these players. He seems to be nowhere to be in the box to put it in the net. I think he's our top scorer this season.
He is.
Know? Yeah, I think he gets a raw deal. I do.
I think he's edging close to 20 goals in all competitions.
Yeah.
Shame we didn't have a bet on that instead of Solanke, Jimbo. You'd be cashing in.
I'm still all right with Solanke. No problem there. He needs a couple, doesn't he? Still
Again,
a few games left.
Again, it's square pegs in round holes. Maybe Ange needs to try him, or whoever comes in next season needs to try this guy up top. I still think we would work better with two strikers anyway. Oh, Drew, the controversial says Solanke falls over too much.
I haven't noticed that.
I'm just going to say, I've noticed Madders does it. 20 goals and assists, which is his best for a while. Big up Brennan, and yet he's still one of the ones that gets singled out relentlessly by some people, which is kind of not nice. And when he done his little message after the game, oh, he's just so cute. You know, he brings out my maternal instincts all over again because he's a child. Solanke is on fraud watch. Well, I did when we first was linked to him. I said I don't want him as a one-season wonder, but
it's very rarely that Solanke's not involved in nearly every goal we score when he's on the pitch in one way or another.
I don't think he scores enough, but he does so much more for the team than just like he's very unselfish. He's so strong. He always tries to win the ball back and wins it back most of the time. He sets people up. Steve says, I don't agree with slagging Brennan, but he frustrates me in big games for his work rate. Try him centrally and he'll bring more than goals. Yeah, I think that's fair. Lisa said, I do wish some of the subs were brought on earlier, and I have to say we are so lucky to have Spence. He was fantastic yesterday. He seems to move forward on the left and make things happen. Jasper's decided he wants to sit on my lap. Miko Morena as a makeshift striker is 1 goal behind Solanke. Yeah, but he's getting better service because you've got better wingers. So you've got to put it into context. I think it's difficult to compare the two because of the teams they're in.
Yeah, that's why you're second or third, wherever you are, and we're 14th or 13th, 14th, I think.
Johnson reminds me of Beetlejuice. Why? Could you say his name 3 times and he appears? I saw Henry video of Johnson found his level. I haven't seen Henry Wright's videos. I'm sure he's ranting about Tottenham like he normally does, but I'm on the terrace with him later. So Solanke has 11 goals and 8 assists in all competitions. Don't sound terrible, does it? Let's be fair. And he has been injured.
And for a terrible season as well. We've got the whole
Yeah. But Jim, I've got, first of all, I can't bring the photo up because I'll get done for copyright infringement. I did try to find one without copyright, but couldn't. The offside for I think it was the Bergvall goal, wasn't it? It was the Bergvall goal.
Yeah.
Can anyone in the chat explain to me, explain to Jim how that was offside? Because I still can't see it. I mean, Jimbo, you were going absolutely mental.
Do you know what? I can't see where it was offside. They had a line going down Romero's arm, right? And even that weren't offside. And the defenders, the Southampton defender's foot was over the line. I just don't get this offside. Behind him, I think it was Davis's arm was offside, but you can't score with your hand, right? Davis weren't interfering with play. I'm absolutely baffled with VAR. It took all that time, right? And it's like it's still not offside. But it's like I hate VAR, and I tell you why I hate it, right? I would rather that there was a few mistakes, right, in games, and it will even itself out over a period. But it's like they're looking for an excuse. I mean, when we scored one of the goals, they were looked for offside, wasn't there? Then they were looking for a foul. There was no foul. It's like, why are you looking for this stuff?
I know.
If there was a foul, the referee would blow up for a foul. If there was honestly, it's like they look for an excuse to stop a goal. I thought that the VAR was there, right, was to make more goals for more entertainment, right? And I can't see. They had it up on the screen on Sky Sports, right? And I paused it and I went right up to the telly and I could not see any part of any Tottenham player offside, you know, except for Davis's arm. But he was behind the play, right, and never interfered with play at all. and I just don't get it. I don't get it. Honestly, it's just an absolute load of shit, VAR. They should just scrap it.
The thing is, if they take 4 minutes and they come to the right decision, you can go, well, at least they came to the right decision, but I still don't think they did after all that time. It was bloody bonkers. But Phil Pete, woo! I hope you're hungover today because you text me quite late to say you just got in. So I'm hoping that you've got a sore head today because you deserve it, Phil.
No, you don't, Phil. You're entitled to enjoy a win, mate. We don't get them that often now.
Luke Dare said, line should be judged on a part that you could score with VAR is so slow and every goal is checked and it's so boring. I think from next week, the automated offside comes into play. I think.
But Dan, you know what? There wasn't any part of Romero that was offside. I couldn't see it, and I went right up to the screen and paused it, and I just couldn't see it, and I just don't know where they get it from. Honestly, I don't.
It is like they're trying to stop goals.
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I agree. 60 seconds. I would say 30 seconds because if it's clear and obvious, you'll see it in 30 seconds. That's how I feel.
There was one the other day, right? I think it was Chelsea's goal, right? That was offside. He was clearly a yard offside, right? Maybe just under a yard offside. And they were checking it every single angle. And it's like they got the straight line there and he's offside. Why are they checking every single angle? He was obviously offside. So just that's it, finished. Yeah. You know? I don't get VAR.
The thing is, as well, it's like they said they played an extra 7-8 minutes. Was it 8 minutes after? And you could see the players were waning. It was like they wanted to get to half time and it was all very sluggish. It's too much. It's just...
The thing is, Kate, right? VAR could be a really good thing. Like, there's things like sometimes it goes out for a corner and they give a goal kick. VAR could go straight in the ref and say that weren't a goal kick, it was a corner. They could get things like that right.
Yeah, you know? But they won't get involved. And yet a corner could lead to a goal, and it's happened to us this season on more than one occasion.
And also, I've seen corners given when it was a goal kick, right?
Self-inflicted. Am I froze?
You ain't now. You was, and I just
self-inflicted.
I just think to myself, it could be such a good thing, VAR, if it was used properly. And look, we're just people here on YouTube and people in the chat on YouTube, and most of the people are agreeing with the same things. So if we can see it, why can't they see it? I don't get it. I don't, honestly.
Yeah, it was a weird angle. You're right, but from every angle they showed, I still couldn't see it was offside.
Well, I watched it on Sky Sports this morning to double check, right? And it wasn't offside. They showed the lines.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. Clear and obvious is open to interpretation. But as I said, if you can't decide within 30 seconds if it's clear and obvious, it ain't clear and obvious that a mistake's been made. So, I mean, VAR was brought in so we wouldn't be constantly talking about decisions. And that's all we talk about.
Yeah.
They knew it was offside in 30 seconds. Most of that time was checking whether it's a red offence. That was for the Chelsea game.
What was they doing? What did he say?
You know, when Sarr fouled Caicedo and they disallowed the goal, they were checking for longer than 30 seconds to see if it was a red card.
No, not that one. I'm talking about the Chelsea goal. Chelsea scored one that was offside. The guy was a long way offside, right? It weren't even close. But they took like 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And it's like, oh my God, what is going on here? You can see that he's offside.
Phil P said, I think Romero's prescription from the Argentinian medical team that he stuffed down his shorts was offside. Got to say, big up to Romero. I thought he had one of his best games for us for a while, especially the first half. And his treatment of fans is offside. Just fair to say, if it takes 6 minutes to check, then it can't be a clear and obvious error. I like what the ref on the overlap said about punishing people with corners if taking ages with a set piece. That comes in next season. If goalkeepers take too long to kick the ball out, the opponent gets a corner, and I think that's a fantastic bit of a new bit of legislation. Romero's feet were not over the line. You can clearly see that. I think they went by his shoulder, leaning forward from one of the angles. Anyway, that
wasn't past the line, Kate.
It wasn't.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, and in the Chelsea and the Tottenham game, right, the only thing that I will say is I think they come to the right decisions on all of them, right? So that one worked out okay. But yesterday it didn't work out right, and not at all.
Yeah. So I have to keep drinking because I've got a bit of a cold and it's big up to you, James Bond. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Yeah, didn't understand the Caicedo one. I mean, it was so clear. Everyone could see it. And it was Arsenal were loving that news. We're scoring like 50 corners. You know, we're saying, who's worse, Liverpool or Arsenal fans? Ooh. Jim actually made a very controversial statement yesterday and said it would be so funny if Liverpool threw it away from here and Arsenal won it, just purely because of the cockiness that we've had to listen from Liverpool fans all season.
And it wouldn't bother me. I know it bother a lot of Tottenham fans, but I wouldn't give a shit.
A lot of Liverpool fans are horrendously cocky and arrogant. And Hassam, I'm looking at you when I say that, Mr. Hassam the fraud. But then a lot of Arsenal fans are horrendously cocky and arrogant. Egal, I'm looking at you when I say that, you fraud. So, look, it's like our fan base. There's absolute tosspots in every fan base. So I refuse to answer that question and just say, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. If I speak, I'm in trouble. Silly question. Has anyone thought that VAR doesn't work in football? Well, they've spent that much money on it. It ain't going nowhere, that's for sure.
It does. I don't think it works. And the thing that's really frustrating is it's not a bad thing to have in football if it's done right. But
yeah, it's the people on the end of it.
I can't get my head around some of the decisions. Right, like the Liverpool one when we played Liverpool, and the offside that one. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I mean, how they ever got that wrong?
Oh yeah, some news just come through. Breaking news. Brennan Johnson had to be consoled by Heung-min Son after being denied the chance to secure his hat-trick. Johnson had already scored twice in the Premier League clash with Southampton on Sunday and even had the chance to grab his first ever hat-trick in the competition. Brought down by Saint Star Wellington with the score at 2-1 in Spurs' favour, the forward grabbed the ball. However, Porro took it off him, passed it to Romero, who passed it to Tell. While the game ended with a 3-1 win, Johnson looked deflated as he came off the pitch and was consoled by Sonny for being denied his chance to complete his hat-trick. Speaking to the club's official website, Johnson said, "It's only normal for me to want to take the penalty. There's only a certain amount of talking to do before it gets messy. I've been in this situation before when I've had people wanting to take the ball off me and it kind of unsettles you a little bit. I knew the game was pretty much done, but still, I didn't want to unsettle anyone or start any arguments. So once the decision was made, I just had to get on with it." I respect him for that because there are some players that would have dug in and then you get the old arguing, which never looks good. So yeah, I feel sorry for him in a way, but, you know, it is what it is. Do you know what, Steve? You're right. VAR does work in Europe, so it shows that it's the way it's used in the UK.
Yeah, they use it different there, don't they, than they do here?
Well,
everybody here, these people here, I think they're just all stupid. I do, honestly.
Big up, Bob, you trophy dodger. Good to see you, sir.
Right, Bob.
Judah says, Arsenal fans are the worst, and I wouldn't laugh if Liverpool threw it away for them woolies to win it.
Do you know what? Arsenal don't live in my head, so I don't really give a shit. All I care about is
I would rather they didn't win it, though. I'm right there with you, Kate. I'm under the weather the last couple of days and fighting a cold. I'm going through the tissues. Feel better. Yes, you too. I've got a bit of... I've actually not been that great this week. I've got labyrinthitis again, which is like dizziness. But yesterday and today, I started developing a bit of a cold. It's not bad. It's not like Jim, where I'm going to say I've got man flu. But it's just a bit of a snotty nose and a bit of pharyngitis, I think. It's not the first time I've seen Porro do that rubbish. Question, what would happen if the clubs wouldn't play with VAR in action? They would play because it would cost too much money for them not to. So, Kate and Jimbo, when you say most Liverpool fans have been cocky, they've got a right to. They've been walking the league in the same situation, Jimbo. Arsenal would be unbearable if they were top 6.
They're both going to be unbearable, whoever wins it, but it is what it is. Whoever wins it, wins it. And I don't really give a shit who wins it.
I've got a question.
If it ain't us, I don't care.
I've got a question for the chat because it's been discussed in the Football Terrace group, and I wonder what people thought. Do you think the Premier League this year has been a stinker? Do you think the standard of the Premier League has been worse, or do you think it's more of a case that the sort of smaller teams, and I say that in all due respect, have become more competitive? Jim, what do you think?
I think it's been nice to see some of the lower clubs, I say lower clubs, they're Premier League clubs. They've been here for a while, and they Fulham, Bournemouth, Brentford, Newcastle, Villa. Even though Villa are a massive club, they haven't been doing too well over the last 10 years or so, have they? It's nice to see all them doing well. So it's not been a. I just think I think that the Premier League, the standards got very, very high. So for clubs like us, Everton, clubs like us that used to be always up there in the top 6, 8, West Ham always did quite well, didn't they? Always in the top 10. It's become harder for us to sustain them positions because the so-called lower clubs have got better. Nottingham Forest, they've all spent money, and I think the standard of football is better than what it used to be. So it's become a tougher league. So if you're not on your game, right, then you're not going to do as well. Like we haven't been on our game. So that's why we are where we are. And Everton, Man United, them lower clubs are better than what they used to be, where we used to go into them games thinking we're going to win them. Teams don't do that now. Look at yesterday, Fulham and Liverpool.
Yeah. Big up SD Football and Angus. Look, I agree with what Angus said. I think the quality this year has been shocking, as in Liverpool walks here. There's not really been a title race, is there? They've we've known they're going to win it for a while now. You've had the likes of Man City drop off, Arsenal drop off, and they have dropped off, whether people like it or not. They don't look as good this year. You've got Chelsea who are up and down like Tower Bridge. Man City, I don't know if I said them. It just doesn't seem to be like there's one really good team, Liverpool, who are still not infallible because Fulham proved that yesterday. But everyone else, well, maybe Matt says they walked it. Angus says they haven't. I think since Christmas, I think they've walked it. What do you think?
Look, they dropped points yesterday, Liverpool, right? And they're still 11 points in front. I thought it was less than that. And when you told me it was 11K, I was a bit shocked. But I don't really take much notice of other clubs where they are in the league and how many points they've got. I should do, I suppose, because we do this channel, but I don't really. I just concentrate on Tottenham, and if I watch a game, but I don't really care how many points Liverpool and Arsenal and Chelsea and them have got.
Luke and Dan's got a point. I think the lack of world-class players in the Prem reflects the quality. It's like De Bruyne, another world-class player we're losing out of the Premier League. But Arsenal have come out and said they're going to do massive business this summer window. So I'm expecting a Gyökeres or somebody like that to be coming in for them. But I do feel like, the levels of, I don't know, just like you used to sit down and you'd watch the likes of Mane and Firmino and Salah up front, and you'd have Aguero, you'd have I don't know, I just feel like the level of players has really gone down in the Premier League. And I found this season, apart from Spurs, who have been dog shit anyway, I found this season quite dull. There's not been many games where I've gone, oh my God, that was an amazing game of football. It's like the Manchester derby yesterday stunk the place out. I know people have said it was a good game. I thought it was awful.
I didn't like it. What was it? We watched the game this weekend. I thought was good. What was it? It was Saturday night.
Villa Forest.
Yeah, that was a really good game. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that game. It was a really good game.
But generally, I think I haven't enjoyed this football season. Not aside from being a Spurs fan, I love watching football anyway, but I haven't enjoyed it as much as normal. I just don't think the levels have been there, and I do feel like Liverpool have walked it. And it's nice when there's a bit of, is it going to be Liverpool? Is it going to be Man City? Is it going to be Arsenal? Is it going to be so-and-so? Is it going to be so-and-so? I look at the top six, and you take out Arsenal and Liverpool, maybe those two, and it's wide open. Like you said this morning, the gaps between the top sort of 6 teams or whatever it is, it's too short. It's so many people that can jump into fourth spot. But I think that's a little bit. I don't think the only reason they've won it is because of Salah. Yes, that's a bit biased.
At the end of the day, Kate, sorry, at the end of the day, Salah plays for Liverpool, so he's a part of their team. So you can't say they've only won it because of Salah. Right? It's a team sport. There's players that have to set him up. There's players that have to pass him. So it's like you could say that in every team has got one player that is like except for Tottenham, I think, is the outstanding player.
They've got so many good players. Liverpool. Szoboszlai's been excellent. Alisson's been excellent. It's very. I think that does Liverpool a disservice to say that, Angus. Massive business. Woolwich are getting a cat called VAR. Says beyond 72. Chelsea boy says the Prem is the worst it's ever been, in my opinion. I think you're about right there. Bizarre how Arsenal never addressed getting a top striker for so long. I know, but they've got to. Surely they've got to. The Champions League's been magnificent this season. I cannot wait for tomorrow and Wednesday. I love watching the Champions League. Anyone who remembers the 70s with all the wonderful Mavericks, now it's all micromanagement with super fit athletes trying to play the same way. Look, I was born in 78, so I don't remember the 70s particularly, but Jimbo does.
I was talking to you about that this morning, Kate. What did I say to you? In the 70s and the 80s, it was a completely different game, and it was a lot more enjoyable, and there wasn't loads of controversy, and they got stuck in, and it was a different game. It was a more enjoyable game, and they weren't playing for money. They were playing for their badge. If you played for your team, like whatever team it was, it's because they loved that team and they wanted to play for them. Now they're just, they get paid, like say they get paid 50 grand a week. Another team comes in the next season, offers them 80, and they go. It wasn't like that in the days. They played for the badge.
Yeah, Angus, will you be saying that tomorrow after Real Madrid? Oh, I just can't wait.
Do you know what annoys me about the Champions League is they have games on at the same time.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
They should stagger the games so that we get to see them, because I'd like to have seen the Bayern Munich game as well.
All the games for the Champions League this last, is it 8 or 16? 8, isn't it? Is it 8? Yes, I think it's last 8. They're all fantastic games, really, that I'd want to see. You've got Villa PSG, it's going to be blinding. You've got like you just said, the Bayern Munich game. You've got Dortmund are going to be playing. You've got Arsenal, Real Madrid. And yes, we will all be calling for Madrid. Hello, Madrid. But 78, what a year. Yes, indeed. Best year. But Jimbo, what I wanted to do today was do the player ratings and try and be sensible. Try not to just give all 10s.
Sensible.
If you start giving all 10s, I'm just going to close the show, end the show, and you'll be booted out.
Yeah, I won't give all 10s for beating Southampton. Of course I won't. But I give nearly all 10s when we beat City 4-0 because I thought they deserved it.
I actually don't remember Barry Danes and Paul.
I don't either.
No, I don't remember that name.
But my mind is a bit aggled over the last few years.
But let's start on the player ratings. First of all, we've got to go with our keeper, Vicario, who a lot of people said shouldn't have played, but I'm glad that he did because he made some important saves. Would you give him out of 10 for yesterday, Jimbo?
Give him a 10. No, I don't. I'm joking. I'll give Vicario, I think I'll give him an 8. Solid 8.
Any particular reason?
Well, I thought he did some important saves, and he his distribution was good, I thought, and the goal weren't his fault. Went through his legs, and he did go down, but just a little bit too late. So yeah, he wasn't troubled a lot. He wasn't. He didn't look like he was in any sort of trouble at any time, really. So I'll give
You've
him
got
an
an 8 and Dan's got a 6. So I'm going to go slap bang in the middle and go 7. He did make a couple of good saves, but he did concede as well at the end against a very poor Southampton team. So I'm going to go with a 7.
You can't always blame the keeper when they concede because it's defence as well.
I know, but
He was in the right spot. It just went through his legs, didn't it?
He ended up looking like a real pillock as well when he fell on his
Well,
backside. Well, I did, just because he fell on his bum and it just looked. If it was
David Darling, that's what they do.
I know, but if it had been a keeper from another team, I would have took the piss. So no, but my man Vicario here gets a 7 from me. He gets a 7 from SD Football. Potato Stew gives him a 9.5. I think for everyone. 7 says Drula. I was at art college at 78. Wow. Well, I was born in May 78, so you know.
I won't tell you where I was.
No, let's not go to where you were. I just wish Vicario was more demanding, and with crosses, he scares me. Yeah, sometimes he punches the ball when he should catch it, in my opinion. But
all goalkeepers do that now, Kate. I don't know why.
I think he's getting better as well. I do think he is improving. But so Vicario, you give 8, I give 7. Let's go on to Mr. Prince Jedley Spence. What do you give our man Jed?
I'm going to give Spence. I'm going to give him 9. I thought he was solid as a rock yesterday again.
Spot on Jimbo about them getting paid a lot of money. This is a video online of all the Spurs players leaving. Oh, I know. I saw all the cars. Big up, Daddy Kiriakou. Mwah. Big loves to you. Hope you're well. Must catch up soon. I'm giving Jed a 9 as well.
Hey.
I thought he was excellent from start to finish. He probably would have been my man of the match if it wasn't for somebody else who I think is pretty obvious who's going to get it. But I really hope and pray with every part of my being that Ange Postecoglou starts Jed Spence on Thursday. It doesn't stick a doggy in there because Spence is different gravy to a doggy. I think the doggy's gone right off the boil. Harsh 7 and 7 again. So harsh. 8 for Drula. First half 9, second half 7. Spence had to play left back. Doggy is terrible. I absolutely, completely, 100% agree. I think Udogie has been our worst player. Well, one of our worst players this season. He just looks so shaky. No, I think he is actually that good. Angus, he looked excellent at Forest. I think he looks excellent for Spurs. I think he's a very, very good player.
I should put you on a timeout.
Watch yourself. Then we have Christian Romero. Jimbo, how do you think old Mr.
I think he had one of his really good games for us, so I'm going to give him a 9 as well.
9?
Thank you. It's my decision. 9.
9?
Yeah. I think he could have had 2 goals yesterday.
Yeah, could have, would have, should have.
Well, I thought he had a real solid game, so he gets a 9 off me.
9?
You can repeat it as much as you like. I ain't going down.
9? Are you sure?
Yes.
What are you giving him?
9.
9? I am giving Romero. I think it was a good performance for him because lately he's been crap. But I'm still going to give him a 7 because I thought he was in the first half. He was really good and he was right up there attacking. But he showed why he plays in defence because he couldn't finish it.
Second half, 2 good saves he done that Ramsdale.
And the second half, I didn't think he did much really.
When you notice they don't do much, right? It's because they've done their job. That's what I think. And he didn't have to do much, did he? And so,
I'm still giving him a 7. Same as Luton Dan. Lisa says Spence is a 9 for me and is my man of the match. I totally agree that Ange needs to start him on Thursday. Spence is so much better than a doggy. He controls the ball better and moves it better. I just think he's been brilliant for us. 8 for Potato Stew. Yeah, he does look disinterested, Drew. I'll make you right. 9. 9. Potato Stew. 9. 9. Oh, he gets a 9 for smashing Ramsdale in the face. Oh, actually, I'm going to move him up one to an 8 just for that because I forgot he did that. So yeah, he gets an 8. And yeah, Tyler Diblin. I never even heard his name. He was shite.
In the first half, you never heard his name. He come more into the game in the second half. But he didn't look nothing special to me. But that's only one game. You can't judge someone on one game.
Literally, what I was about to say, Kate. He got nosebleed being that far up the pitch with the ball. He did not know what to do. Proper centre back right there. Yeah, it's a shame because I think he should have got one of them goals. But like Jim said, Ramsdale made a couple of good saves. But look, 8. You said 9. We're not miles apart. Then we've got my man Ben Davies, Jimbo. Quiet game for him, in my opinion.
He did what he needed to do, so he gets an 8 out of me. He did what he needed to do.
8. Diblin's going to be absolute world class. A teenager playing one of the worst Premier League teams of all time. I'm going with Luton Dan again, and we have a 6 for Ben Davies. Probably his quietest game for us. I think both the defenders would have benefited. Like if we'd have kept a clean sheet, maybe you'd give them a few more points or a couple more points. But Davies really was non-existent.
He did what he had to do, Kate.
Well, look, I'm only going to say I'm going with a 6. I've really been impressed with Davies.
It's your choice. I won't question what you give.
No, you better not either. Solid 7. 7. Joey Barton says second half performance means they'll all get 4. Boo! Negative Nancy's in the house. No, I'm going 6 for Ben Davies. Pedro Porro, Jimbo.
I give him a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Any reason?
No. Just he did well, didn't he? He didn't make any mistakes. Not what I remember. Did his job. So
I think he was better in the second half because he was more attacking than in the first half, and that is obviously where he prefers to be. He shouldn't be playing as a fullback. Is that wing back? What is it? Fullback or wing back? Right?
Yeah, I don't know really, Kate, because he's a right back, isn't he? But that's where he plays him. But he's a wing back, I suppose, because he goes forward.
I am giving Pedro Porro a 7 as well because I think he was solid, and I thought he was one of the ones that actually was decent in the second half. SD Football says 7. Luke down says 6. Did his job-ish, 7. Yeah, I think that's fair. Porro gets 7, although I am cross with him that he was a bit, I'm taking the ball and giving it to the captain. Yeah. It's like, yeah, whatever. Next up, we've got lovely little Lucas Bergvall, who should have got a goal because of stupid VAR. He was denied. I love this guy. I think he's going to be such a superstar. I really, really do. What are you giving Lucas, Jimbo?
I'm going to give him a 9 because I thought he was all over the place, winning the ball back. When he loses the ball, he does everything to get it back, gets stuck in, scored a goal that should have been allowed. I thought he was magnificent yesterday. He's got more energy than any other player on that pitch. He's just
He's not only got energy, he's class. He's got a bit of class about him. The little turns and things he does.
Other people lose the ball and he goes and gets it back.
Yeah,
I love him. I think that he's a superstar in the making.
Yeah, I agree. I'm giving him an 8.5. I thought he was excellent. I think he puts Maddison to shame. Although Lucas plays a lot more of a pivot, I think Maddison should take a look at his work rate and go, wow, this guy, I need to keep up with this guy. I think he's brilliant. Potatoes Juice says a 9. SD Football says 8 for Bergvall, should start every game. 7.5, says Dan. Dan, you're being mean.
Dan, you're very harsh. I'm glad you weren't harsh on Monopoly like this.
Yeah, Drew's saying 8. Daniel says, Angus, we're not spending 100 million on a player, correct? Only player he looks like he wants to fight for the cause. Yeah, you're going to give him a 7.5, Dan. Shame on you. Lisa says a 9 for me. His effort was outstanding, both offensively and defensively. Yeah, like I say, I absolutely love this guy, and I think he's only going to get better and better. So I hope we hang on to him. Next up, we have Rodrigo Bentancur. I gave him a 7. I thought he was all right.
I'll go with you with a 7.
Yeah. I mean, he come off. I think he come off 75, 70, somewhere around that time. But I thought he looked better than he has done. Your parcel's coming today, Jim, with your babes. So yeah, I would give him a 7. Drula says 7. SD says 6. Luton Dan says 6.5. Kate Juice says 6. Went missing. Oh,
he did a little bit. I tend to agree with Potato there. I thought he went missing a bit as well.
Do you think the fact that he got taken off sort of with 20 minutes or 25 minutes to go, whatever it was, that he's going to be playing on Thursday?
Probably.
Yeah.
Right,
Danny Kiriako gives him a 5.
No, he's saying that's for you, Jim, because that's my lucky number. He's sending me a 5.
Danny, I think you need to loosen your man bun and be a bit nicer. 5 is harsh. Next up, we have got the guy I was just talking about, actually. James Maddison, Jimbo. What did you make of him?
Do you know what? He frustrates me because he's got all the talent in the world, but just doesn't use it. I'm going to give him a 6, Kate.
6?
Yeah, I am, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't put enough in for me with his talent.
Wow.
He should be involved a lot more than what he is.
I'm going to give him an 8. In fact, I'm going to give him a 7.5. It was rubbish not rubbish, but he weren't very good in the second half.
He really frustrates me because he's got so much talent. When he's on it, he's the best player in the pitch. I saw someone on Sky Sports. They were on a panel, and someone said, one of the guys said on there, if he played to his full potential, he'd be one of the best players in the Premier League. But why he doesn't play to his full potential, they don't know. He's such a good player if he wants to be, but I don't understand why we only see glimpses of it. And when he's on it, he is on it. He's good.
He got the pre-assist because he found Sonny, who played in Spence, who then got the assist for the first goal.
Yeah, but that's only like 30 seconds out of a game.
Yeah, and then he got the assist for the second goal, Johnson.
He still gets a 6 for me because I don't think he puts enough in.
7.5 for me. Wow, a lot of people not liking Matters. 6, 7. Big up Ian Ferguson. Hope you're well, my love. Damaged goods. Matters gets a 6. Wow, maybe I'm being too nice. Honestly, guys, I walked out at half time and didn't go back in. We were dreadful. You should have seen what the fans in the South Stand were all saying yesterday. Tell us what they were saying. Madison hates Ange. Yeah, do you know what? I've heard that actually the majority of the players and the coaching staff despise this man. There's a lot of people saying the same thing. But I do think once he buggers off out of our club, we will see a different Madison. But then we've got, sugar, I pressed the wrong button. Then we've got, everyone's got to love a BJ today. Brennan Johnson, Jimbo. What are you giving him?
Let me say to Danny, at the end of the day, right, they beat what was in front of them, and there was some good football in there at times. And they didn't have. That's why when everyone said they were dropping off second half, it didn't bother me because I knew that if they needed to step up, they could. I didn't want them like flying in and killing themselves because of Thursday. So I think they did what they had to do. Well, I'm giving Johnson a 10.
A perfect 10.
Yeah, because he scored 2 goals for me, and he was in the right places at the right time. So I give him a 10. And if nobody
Wow.
likes it, tough.
Danny says everyone talked about Johnson saying he offered nothing, but the goals, nothing but the goals. But goals against bad teams, also the worst team to go. Do you know what, Danny? You can't please some people. They're absolute wankers. Sorry for my French, but they are. You know, this kid. Oh, he only scores tap-ins. Oh, he don't score enough. Oh, he don't. I think he's such a scapegoat for so many people, and it's outrageous. He's a young guy. He's learning his craft. He gets paid a lot of money, but that's not his fault.
In his 2 goals, he took them really, really well.
Yeah. I'd love a BJ, even think of getting a woman around later, but Johnson gets a 7.5. Christ alive. Big up Jimbo, first 10 of the day. Worst team to go down in Premier League history, and we struggled against the worst relegated team in the league. Honestly, people hate to be happy. I don't understand.
They might be the worst team in the league, but we still beat them 3-1, right? And
no, but this is what they were saying in the South Stand.
Right. Oh, all right. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we beat them 3-1. We can only play against what's in front of us. And I thought that he had a good game, and he can't win, can he? He has a bad game, he gets slaughtered, which is all right, fair enough. But when he has a good game, like he did yesterday, he didn't have to offer no more. He offered 2 goals, right, which for me is more than enough.
I'm not giving him a 10, but I am going to give him a 9.5.
He offered 2 goals and got us the penalty.
Yeah, he did get the penalty. I think both the goals were lovely goals as well taken goals. I'll give him a 9.5. I don't understand what he has to do to get some credit. He scored 2 goals and he's still getting loads of shit. It's bloody bonkers. Yes, Danny, I'm going to send you the link now, my love. If you want to come on and say what was being said.
You're lucky I ain't got control. I would have said bollocks to you, Danny.
Not to the man bun. Then we've got Solanke, Jimbo.
I'm going to give Solanke, I think, 6.5. I was going to go 7, and then I thought 6. I'll go in the middle.
I think I would go the same as you. He's got 9 games now without a goal. Did have a couple of chances in the second half. Got a couple of saves, but he needs to hit the back of the net. So yeah, 6.5. 4.5. That's so harsh, Dan. And then the last one.
Hang on. Dan, his job is to score goals as well as what he does. You know, he brings people in the game and he holds the ball up. Well, he needs to score more goals. I agree, but his work rate is second to none as well.
Joey says Solanke, one of the worst striker signings, would be the worst in recent times if it weren't for Richie. Poor Solanke. And then we've got Min Son, Jimbo.
Oh, Sonny. I'll give him a 6 as well.
Yeah, me too. He did a Jed Spence pre-assist. Got taken off 55 minutes, so obviously he's going to start him against Frankfurt. And yeah, just not a terrible performance like some of the performances we've seen, but not a brilliant one either. So yeah, 6 I think is fair. Aldia Esfacia says Johnson scored 5 goals last season. The reason he has 13 already, people need to lay off him. Much worse players in the team. I agree 100%.
So do I.
Danny says, I respect Johnson for scoring and that, but before the game, the 6 previous games, he'd done nothing. I look at an all-round performance because until yesterday, Madison, he still gets criticised. Yeah, but we only scored him on yesterday's game, not on the last 6 games.
If you asked me to score in the last 6 games, it'd be a lot different.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone just put Sonny's very predictable at the minute, which he is.
Solanke's weak and can't hold up the ball. Oh, I don't agree with that. Not one bit. Not one bit.
It is amazing that people see different things, don't they? You know, but yeah, if you're concentrating on one player in a game, then you see more than someone who's not. But
yeah,
he wasn't great, Solanke, yesterday. He was all right, but he wasn't great. But he didn't have to be, did he? But
I mean, there were some subs come on, but I don't think anyone did enough to mark them. Obviously, Tell got the penalty. Here he is, the man by himself, Mr. Kiriakou. Look at that smile face. How are you, Dan?
All right, how are you guys?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I just had to come on as well and say Jimbo's rating of Johnson and Romero is delusional.
not delusional.
Sorry, Jim. I love you, Jimbo, but
it's what I see. And I thought Romero was solid yesterday. He could have had 2 goals. The keeper done 2 good saves, right? And I thought Johnson, he scored 2 goals and got us the penalty, and we won 3-1. So I think he done what he was there to do. You know, I think what you want him to do.
There's a lot of fans, and I kind of agree with some of them yesterday. They were saying like how Romero yesterday, he looked a lot of times in the first half anyway. He looked disinterested, and he was kind of a bit lazy with his passing a little bit. Yeah, I know he nearly scored 2 goals, but they were quite tame efforts from him. He could have done better. He should have done better, really, with Romero's ability in the air. And I think Johnson, again, apart from the goals, yeah, and he did take them well. He didn't offer much again the rest of the game, right? And I know in the second half, I watched it from outside. I was outside the stadium, and at one point you could just feel Southampton were going to score a goal. It's like they put us on the back foot. And a team this bad, let's be honest, that team out there should not be letting Southampton have the amount of chances they had against us. That's the truth, Jim.
And that's not Johnson's fault, is it?
No, I'm talking about Tottenham in general. I mean, but Benton Court, I think there's too many of those players, Jim. And if I'm honest, they don't care about Tottenham. They just don't care about the badge, right? There's so many players in that team. What I saw yesterday in the first half, I was really bored. Like a lot of the fans around were bored, and even Johnson's second goal. I kid you not. A lot of fans around me kind of half-heartedly cheered. It was like that. It was kind of like they were cheering but not cheering at the same time.
He took it well, Daddy.
Yeah, no, I know he took it well, Jim. But the fact that the fans are not even getting excited by scoring a goal, it says a lot at the moment. And it's not. And I'm talking about 20,000, not just me and a few others around me, but I'm talking about the stadium. There was a lot of people that weren't really. It was like, kind of like that. It was like as if they weren't really cheering. Like and I've never seen that at the stadium before, Jim.
You've got to look at it, right? You've got to look at it. People are like that because of the whole season, right? Not for that game yesterday. It's because of what's happened this season.
I agree, Jim, but also you got to think about it, right? This Southampton team is the fastest team to be relegated with the worst points in history of the Premier League, and yet we let them play against us and conceded against them, and they could have had another one, really, right? The fact that is the worst Premier League team technically in history, factually, and we still didn't look good enough. Like that team, Jim, should have battered that Southampton team. They should have battered them easily, right? And they wouldn't even have to have gone into second gear. But the fact that we still looked the same kind of style of football, we still looked lethargic, we still looked like we couldn't do 5-yard passes. Do you know how many people walked out at half time? It was insane. A lot of fans walked out. Because they preferred to go outside and have a drink and enjoy the weather. Because inside the stadium, majority of the stadium, apart from one section that had the sun, was cold. So it's like people were moaning and people were like, I mean, I just went outside to meet a friend and then never went back in. To be honest, I was preferred chatting to my friend, but it was quite watching the second half. Go on.
Oh, no, I was going to say I saw the video of Patrick Tyrant
Yeah.
put on a clip on his WhatsApp of the game. The atmosphere sounded terrible. It sounded like you could hear a pin drop. Literally, it was so quiet.
I was outside the stadium, and I swear to God, I didn't hear not one cheer, one chant the whole second half. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. Honestly, terrible.
Yeah, but
And
that's not the game from yesterday, Danny. Let's
No,
be
that's
honest.
but it's because I know that, Jim, but it also adds to how boring it was for people. Do you know that's the only thing most people were saying yesterday? It was so boring. I even went to Coach and Horses, right, to meet Brian and a few others who were there yesterday, and even for the penalty, no one cheered, no one celebrated in the pub. Literally, the whole pub, no one celebrated. Like that, it's like, and people were just all they kept saying was how boring the game was and how like under sort of how bad the players are, that they could actually be doing a lot better. And the general consensus is that if we had a better coach, this team could perform at a much higher level.
Yeah,
because the honest opinion,
that,
yeah.
Listen, I agree with that, right? But you've got to look at this Tottenham team, right? Is there any superstars in there?
No, not really.
And when was the last time, right, you could look at a Tottenham squad and say we haven't got a superstar? We've always had a superstar in there somewhere or other.
Yeah.
This team, there's no superstars, right? There's no footballers in there that are absolutely outstanding. I think Bergville will be outstanding.
He's my favourite player.
There's no footballers in there that you can say, right, if you're 1-0 down, now this guy can turn it on its head. We've had that over the years. We've had Bow, we've had Kane, we've had Gaza, Mickey Hazard, Hoddle. We've had so many players, right, that could turn games on the head, but we haven't got that anymore.
But do you know
if you
also,
go 1-0 down, you do start to think, where's the goal going to come from?
True, I agree with that as well. But for me, it's just the overall problem with this club. It all comes down to the board and Daniel Levy and the way the mentality is at the club. Because what I saw again, I went to Stamford Bridge, right, against Chelsea to watch Tottenham against Chelsea, and the atmosphere was so much better with the away fans, right? And what I saw is the worst performance from a Chelsea team I've ever seen. Yeah. And let's be honest, in the first half, we were better than them. And we actually could have beaten Chelsea that day. But again, it came down to individual mistakes, lethargic. It just they let Chelsea come and play at us. And it's like, this is the worst Chelsea team I've ever seen. And so we actually could have beaten Chelsea. And I saw the same thing again yesterday, right, in the first half, even in the first half, where players just don't look interested. And for me, Jim, I'm sick of this culture at this club, because I'm sick of players coming to this club for a paycheck and not playing for the badge that's on their chest, right? Because the badge on their chest is what they should be playing for, regardless of who they're playing, regardless of where they are on the table. That should be their pride and joy. But the problem is, too many of these players, they play for their paycheck, and that's
well, I said that earlier. But look,
yeah,
Danny, in your opinion, right? I'm just asking your opinion, right? Do you think that they're not interested because of Ange, that they don't want him as manager?
I think it's the whole culture at the club, the mentality at the club. You just have to go back, Jim, to what Harry Kane said when he left Spurs last season, and that will always stick in my mind. Where he said was, when you go to Bayern Munich, you're expected to win every single game, and it's like a massive thing if you don't win. But at Spurs, it doesn't matter if you don't win. That's not what he said. And this is the player who's our record goal scorer, who was at the club for most of his life. And he's the one saying that the mentality of the club is like, it doesn't matter if we don't win. Now, that comes from the board. That comes from the mentality of the club. When you got Daniel Levy going into the canteen every morning and talking to the players like they're his mates, you can't. It's like, essentially, you'd probably know, in any business, in any kind of, you can't be best mates with the boss if you want them to get the best performance out of your employees, right? You can have a good relationship, but you can't be buddy with them or like the way that Levy is, because they won't perform at that level they need to. And it's like it's becoming ingrained into this club where players are happy to. What I also see, which frustrates me, is you get a lot of we seem to sometimes sign really good players, like Romero, for example. But again, he's going to go in the summer. There's no way he's staying in this beyond the summer. And it's another top player that's going to leave this club, and he's probably going to go on and win stuff because what we seem to do is we sell a pipe dream to these players, and then after a couple of years, they start to realize actually it's not going to happen, and then they end up leaving. We never can sustain. We can never build a squad. So it's like we're always rebuilding. And that's what the most frustrating thing is. It's like, again, that bloody PR rubbish that Daniel Levy said in that message the other day or last week was just an absolute diabolical joke. And if people believe it, I think it's just insane. That's the definition of insanity. The way that he said what he said. Again, we can't spend money. We are one of the richest clubs. And the worst thing is, he does it in such a way where the naive fans will believe it. But what he doesn't choose to show is that, yes, we do spend money, but we spend it wrongly. But on top of that, we've got one of the lowest wage budgets in the top 8. And then how can you be competitive with those teams above you if you can't even match them on the wage structure? And that means we've got 4 players in this squad who are on over 100 grand a week, and one of them's on loan. And the rest of them are all youngsters or all people who are on a lot less. Like Werner. And it's like you've got, I think you've got Madison, Romero, Son, and Werner who are on above 100 grand a week. And it's like, and I just find it funny how when Lange left Aston Villa and they got Mochi in, they've gone upwards, and we've gone the way that Aston Villa were going. It does correlate. It does correlate. So it's just, I think they need a whole revamp in the summer. But again, it's just for me, it's frustrating because like it makes you not want to go to watch Spurs anymore. And do you know how many Do you know how many fans I spoke to yesterday who go home and away every week, and they're like, I think I'm done for the season. And these are people that have been going for like 40, 50 years. And it's like, for them to be saying, I'm just done. It's like they've taken the wind out of and the love out of Spurs from these fans. And the thing that Daniel Levy's doing for next season is going to make it even worse. What he's doing to the season ticket holders and for people who want to go to games. For example, right, Jim, if I couldn't go to a game as a season ticket holder and I wanted to just give you my ticket, you'd have to pay for a Spurs membership now, right?
Yeah,
for me to be able to forward you a ticket. That's disgusting. That is absolutely vile. Like, how can you have the audacity? Because they say we're not raising season ticket prices, but they have to try and find another way to take money out of us.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
now
that is bad because we had
it's
to buy
disgusting.
William. We had to buy William a membership because we was going to go to the Forest game, but we can't go now because they've changed the date. So we bought him a membership for nothing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's disgusting, and they're taking money out of fans like it's like that's the last thing they want to do before they stop them going to games. And it's like you can definitely see what the trend is doing. He's basically trying to get more tourists into the stadium, which is why it's more quiet. The honest truth, because when you go to an away game, it's like constant singing throughout the whole game. Pretty much. It's such a good atmosphere. And I prefer going to the away games now, to be honest, because it's just more fun. Even though we lost to Chelsea, I still enjoyed myself more at that game than I did yesterday. That's sad.
How many was at the protest, you reckon, Danny? Was it as big as the first one?
I think it was less people. I mean, I actually didn't go to it because I was so busy. I've been so busy this week. And I was tired as well. So I didn't end up going. I went to the game. But from what I saw from the photos and from what other people said who were there, they said it was similar numbers to the last protest, maybe a bit less.
Wow, Joey Barton saying it was bigger. I mean, it looked from someone who I only was watching Ben's streaming from We Are Tottenham TV, and it looked to me like there was more people there. But it's difficult to gauge it because there's space between people and it's hard to work it out. But it was a good turnout.
I mean, I spoke to people who were there both protests, and they were saying it was similar, if or not, maybe it was a little bit less, but I think it was round about the same kind of amount. I don't think it was more.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, right? You get, I'm, you know what I think of
Mm,
Tottenham. Massive fan. I've been all my life.
mm.
But even for someone like me, like, I back him no matter what. Like, you see me give Brennan Johnson a 10, right? Because he put a big smile on my face yesterday, so I give him a 10, right? But no matter how big a fan you are of this club,
Mm.
if you can't see there's problems, there's something wrong, because there is problems at the club, without any shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, it goes deeper than the football on the pitch, and it just does. And how it's going to get, I said to Kate the other day that I'm kind of, I said it on stream, I'm kind of lost with it, because I don't know how it's going to get sorted. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to get back to where we should be. I
The
can't.
thing is, Jim, it's not ever going to happen under this owner. It's just not, right? The only thing we can hope for as Tottenham fans is to have a better coach who can maybe get us competing in that top 6, top 7. Because if you look at from 4th to 8th, there's not much difference in points, and that's where we need to be, really. And I think this squad, if I'm honest, is good enough to be in that position. I just don't think the manager is good enough to take us to that position, especially with the way he's shown incompetency throughout the whole season.
I said, Danny, what I said the other day is right.
Mm.
Is I can see people calling him a clown and calling him this and calling him that, and I don't agree with that, right? Because I think that he's a good manager in his own right. Because wherever he's been, he's won trophies, right? But I think it's like if you look at Frank Lampard, for instance, right? He had how many jobs in the Premier League? 2 or 3, right? He couldn't do anything, but he's down with Coventry and he's doing well. I think there's levels, and I just think this is one level too far for Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, which means he's not a good manager at this level.
At this level, it doesn't mean that he's not a good manager, because he's proved he's a good manager. It's like if you've got a job, and then there's certain parts of that job that you can't do that you call someone else in to do. He's just he's not at the. It's the Premier League is a different animal to any other league, right? And there's not many managers that can cut it in the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
You see that. Look at Ipswich. Look at Southampton. And who's the other one going down? Leicester, right? Their managers can't cut it for whatever reason. There's and some of them just above who struggle, like us, right? So I think he's at a level that's one step too far for him. But I don't think that makes him a bad manager. It just makes it that he's not at this level. But
Yeah,
I think the level you drop him down a level, and he's a good manager.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't think he's good enough to manage at this high level, especially when you've got a team like us who are in multiple competitions usually in every season, right? And when you add Europe to that, like I'd genuinely be scared with Ange managing us in the Champions League. I think we'd absolutely get obliterated by teams. And
he won the Asian Cup, right, with Australia. I mean, if you're a bad manager, you don't win the Asian Cup.
No, I know what you mean. But I think there's like you said, there's levels to managing, and the way he speaks every interview, every post match, it's like you hear more and more incompetence in him, and the fact that he did the cupping to the ear to the away fans and all this kind of stuff, and it is really it's like he's digging his own grave more and more and more, and it's just. You can see, like when he said about how we planned the season wrong, right? When every season he says that he wins in his second season, and that he's been managing for 30 years. How can you? And he's been in multiple competitions before in other clubs. How can you say that you planned the season completely wrong, or you went too intense in the beginning, right? When you've been managing for that long, but it's like for me. What I see with him is just excuse after excuse after excuse now. And then turning on the fans as well. You just don't do that as a manager. You don't. You just can't. That's the one thing, the one set of people that you need behind you is the fans. And if you turn on your fans, you've lost the battle completely. And
yeah, Conte didn't do that.
No, Conte went against the board, not the fans.
Yeah.
and I love that for him. I loved that. And Conte is a winner. And the thing is, if you look at the way Conte actually even worded that last final interview that he did, that post match, he never actually, the way he worded it was very clever. He was really clever how he did it. He didn't actually like say it's all the board's fault. But he was basically saying, look, 20 years and the board and the same things are happening. Like nothing else. Why hasn't it changed? Like he didn't actually directly say, yeah, it's their fault, they're shit and this kind of stuff. He did it in a way to say, well, look, they've been here for this long. Nothing's changed. They've sacked manager. They've had good managers and they sack managers. They replace them all the time. And why has nothing changed? Because it's the mentality of the club. It's never. That's why all we can hope for now is, for me, I want Ange gone. I think he's incompetent to do this job. I want someone who's going to be able to coach these players better, because I don't think we're ever going to get to the levels that we were at, because number one, we don't pay the wages to attract those type of players. And number two, I don't think that's what Daniel Levy really wants, right? Because what I think is, if we can, what he wants another type of Poch-esque era where we have a manager who coaches players and they overperform to the levels of where they actually are. The difference is, when we had the prime Poch era, we had a top class, one of the best top first 11s in Europe for 3 years. And the biggest problem we had is we had no depth. We had absolutely no depth. So as soon as one of those players dropped out, we couldn't maintain those levels in 4 competitions. So Poch achieved absolute miracles, in my opinion, with what he had. Even saying that, he still should have won trophies. But I think the best we can hope for is someone who can come in and make us challenge for top 8, to be honest. That's where we're at the moment.
Hey, do me a favour. A Harmless Potato put in a comment, and it's with Nuno's name. What did?
Oh, with Nuno.
Yeah, Harmless Potato.
No, not
Yeah.
I think you missed it. I just wanted to see what they said.
Well, Jim, it sounds like we're talking about Nuno again. I don't buy into that.
No, look, Harmless Potato. I thought that's what you said. I was an advocate for Nuno to come to the club before he come to the club, because I thought he'd done wonders at Wolves, and I was definitely not for him being sacked, because I said he weren't given enough time. I think Nuno is an excellent manager, and Kate will tell you that. I wanted him at the club, and when they sacked him, I said they have to not give this guy time because he's a good manager. Nuno is I think he's an exceptional manager. The way he changes his team, the way he changes in play to how the game's going.
The problem is, Jim, with Nuno that he plays very counter-attacking football. It's on the break, right? And Tottenham fans, I guarantee you, right, will not stand for that type of football, because they didn't under Jose and they didn't under Conte. And for me, Conte and Jose are far superior at doing that than he was. Just look at what Conte did with a back four of Ben Davies and Eric Dyer. And who's the other? He had fucking Emerson. Sorry for the swearing. He had Emerson Royale at right back. Emerson Royale, and we finished 4th in the league. 4th. And I know Nick's gonna be absolutely saying, yeah, we shouldn't have got rid of Emerson, but I mean,
do you know what, Dan? You can't have everything, right? We've got a guy now that likes attacking football, and look where we are. I think if they'd have stuck with Nuno, we would have done well. I think
the thing is, I don't know, Jim, about that. I don't think so, because I don't think the players wanted. I don't think the players wanted to play for him. I don't think the players didn't want to play. Look, if you look at it, Jim, you've got to remember Harry Kane was downing tools at that time, right? I was going to the games every week, and Harry Kane looked like a completely different player. As soon as Nuno got sacked and Conte came in, Harry Kane switched the switch in his head, and that was it. He started playing again, and that's the sad reality of football nowadays, is that a lot of, especially because of the way the culture has been set at this club, they allow for the players to have a say in how, in which manager should be at the club. If we're not performing, or we don't like the tactics, then we're not going to play the way we want to, or we're not going to give our 100%. And that is time and time again, we see that at this club. It doesn't matter who the manager is. It goes for even happened to Poch at the end. And that's the thing. It's like, until that culture change, it doesn't really matter who the manager is. And it's sad because
But will
I
that
think
culture ever change with what players earn nowadays?
no, it will change if you have an owner who actually wants to focus on winning things in football, not the other side of the business. That's the reality. Look at what Newcastle have done. They won their first major trophy in 70 years because their owners have set out. Look at what it meant to their fans to win that trophy, right? Could you imagine if it was us lifting a European Cup or lifting an FA Cup, what it would mean to our fans after so long? It'd be ridiculous. I mean, Jim, you know, and my dad knows as well, like seeing Spurs win actual major trophies. And like now, yeah, now we can't even, it doesn't even come into our vocabulary anymore because the only thing we can think about is what youngsters are we going to sign next?
I'll tell you what, there was very few years when I was young, right, that a year went by where Spurs didn't win something.
Yeah. That's why my dad supported them. Because when he was growing up, they were one of the best cup teams in the country.
Yeah.
I didn't want Poch sacked. I just kept that up there to say I didn't ever want him sacked.
Neither did I, Kate. I never wanted him gone.
I rang TalkSport up and I said these fans need to be careful what they wish for. It would be the worst thing to happen to Spurs. And look what happened.
Yeah.
And Jim said it was hang on, Jim. And you the only reason Poch's kind of down tools is because he was told he weren't going to get the players he needs.
Yep.
I don't blame him.
I guarantee you, Kate, I bet you any money Daniel Levy's sitting there thinking, if only I paid that extra 5 million to go and get Bruno Fernandes instead of Gedson Fernandes.
Exactly.
When Poch was asking for him.
We've done the same with Grealish, didn't they?
Yeah.
Skimped on about 3 million to get Grealish. But you know, I think that Poch going was the best thing for Poch because he was beginning to look ill, I thought. And I thought that he needed to go for his own sanity.
Yeah, it's because the relationship broke down with Daniel Levy. He was just done. He was done before the Champions League final. He was already talking a week before the final that he might leave the club. So I mean that's you can't have that mentality going into a Champions League final. I mean, if you're talking about Ancelotti or someone, then it's different, but not Pochettino. He's never won a major trophy at that point. Yeah. So
if we win the Europa League, do you still want Ange?
I think if we win the Europa League, I think he deserves a chance. Because what manager has come to this club and won a European trophy in how long? What, since the 80s? 84 was it we won it? Last time we won it? Yeah, 84. It's now 2025. So what, over 40 years. I mean, if he wins, as much as I don't like his style, I don't like his football, I think Ange is way too arrogant and stubborn for what he's producing. I mean, I hate Arteta and I hate arrogant people, and I hate Arteta for being arrogant, but at least he's showing it what he's doing. He's competing at the top table in all competitions.
Right, and that's he's eating just under the table.
Yeah, I know, but I would rather be in Arsenal's position, Jim, competing at that level than I would be where we are right now.
Do you know what? It's funny because Ben Kaufman's very sort of anti-out, but he said that if we win the Europa, he wants him to get 3 months. I can't bear the thought of this guy still being here, even if we win the Europa League. It's doing my head.
I think, Kate, the right thing to do would be to sack him after winning the final, because at least he goes on a high, right, and gets someone else in. Because I do think that if he is given a chance, I think it's going to get worse, personally, right? But I think Levy and the board will give him a chance because they haven't won a major trophy like that in over 40 years. And that's unfortunately, I think that's what will happen. But if it was me, and if it was a club that had that mentality that they have to win, they would sack him after he wins the trophy, because then you can go in a different direction and start from scratch.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Hotspur. Let me make this clear and simple. This manager ain't winning anything at Tottenham.
Yeah, I kind of agree with it. I said to people yesterday and before that it will take a lot of things for us to win the Europa League this season.
I think 5 games to win the Europa League. It's not impossible.
No,
No.
I know it's not impossible, Jim, but based on what I've seen in the last 6 months, there's no and with Frankfurt being sitting third in the Bundesliga, considering they'd lost their star player, they are a very good team. And the way we're playing, the way we played against Southampton, the way we played against Chelsea, if we play like that again, there's no way we're gonna beat them over 2 legs. It's not gonna happen. Like it for me, I said it would take something like a miracle. It would take something like one of our players to have an outstanding star performance. It will take something like a long range shots and then sit back the whole game. It will take something like maybe them getting red cards and maybe we get lucky. I just can't see us on the balance of play beating them over 2 legs. We might win 1-0 at home, but if when they take us back to Frankfurt, they're going to demolish us.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be tough, but it'd just be like us to get Can we meet Man United in the final?
Yeah.
We just want us to get there and lose to them.
That's exactly what I fear, Kate. If we actually got to the final and have Man United, we've beaten them 3 times this year, and the one time we probably lose is going to be the one game you want to win.
Yeah, and it's like when we lost to Liverpool in the Champions League. I'd have rather faced any foreign club, just not a Premier League team.
Yeah, I agree.
She'll have to wait and see what happens. Jimbo and I will be doing the pre-match pump up. Are you going to the game on Thursday, Danny?
I'm going to the studio. We are Tottenham TV studio, so I'll be with Simeon.
Oh, you'll do the watch along?
Yeah, I'm doing the watch along on Thursday.
We'll do the warm up before the superstar.
Oh, wicked. I should jump on.
Yeah, and I do the pump up show. So if you want to jump on, you're welcome, as always.
I might be with Simeon, so maybe we can say hello.
Yeah, you'll be welcome. But yeah, so we'll be there.
Wicked.
Jimbo, anything you want to add before we finish the show? I don't know what
Spurs.
today.
I'm going to back us to win the Europa League. I'm saying we're going to win it.
Oh my God.
You'll never change, Jimbo. You'll never change, but don't change either.
No. Well, bring the positivity with you, Jimbo. We will probably be back tomorrow to do a preview of the Champions League games, I think, maybe. But I am back tonight on the terrace at 6 for the first time in years.
I'll watch it.
Anything coming up for you, Danny? Anything coming up?
No, I'll just jump on when you guys are on at some point, and maybe the occasional other streams. I'll do a bit with Via Tottenham TV, and that's probably about it, really. So
yeah, on Thursday night you've got us, and then Danny and Sim. So what could be better than that?
Exactly.
It don't get much better than that.
It doesn't. Apart from Jim's delusion of Spurs winning the Europa League.
Can you imagine? God, I'm just thinking if we got to the final, what the pre-match pump-up would be like.
Oh my God!
Oh, be excellent.
Oh my God! Especially if against Man United.
Oh, don't! And with Terry at the terrace being Man United fan,
oh my God!
For sure.
I'd love to see us have that open top parade in the summertime when just going down Tottenham High Street with over 100,000 fans probably and with that European Cup. That would be amazing. I think that's what we live for as a football fan, and it doesn't matter who wins it. I just want to see it in my lifetime once.
If we do that, we will be there at the open top bus parade without any shadow of a doubt. But jumping on. Go on, finish what you're going to say.
I was going to say one thing, Kate. Can you still hear me? Oh, yeah, you still hear me, yeah? Could you imagine if we win the Europa League and then on the open top bus you've got Ange cupping the ears to the fans? How funny would that be? Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
Joey says if we win the Europa League, you can bet Levy will sell tickets for the parade.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He'll try and find anything to charge us fans for something.
Potato Stew says, thanks everyone, as always. Nice one, Danny, for presenting different opinions in a lovely and friendly way. Yeah, no need to shout. It's great. We don't do that here. But look, everyone, enjoy the day, and we'll be back tomorrow. Jim, go on, I'll let you in the stream, Mr. Positive.
Be positive on Thursday. We're going to kick their fucking arse because we are the mighty Spurs.
Giving opinions with no regret, smashing the top bins like in the onion net. walking the talk with Kate and Jim, and walking the walk, just listen in. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mix and transfer news, it's what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jimbo always keeps a positive spin, while Kate's Mickey has a name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like Lenny stop robbing, or she's just flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. The perfect match, you just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match, you just got to latch onto that